The Democratic People's Republic of North Korea is located in East Asia in the northern half of the Korean Peninsula and is currently being run by Kim Jong-il's successor and son, Kim Jong-un. It is home to 24.9 million people and has attracted mass Western media attention since the division of Korea at the end of World War II in 1945. The Kim dynasty is currently in its third generation, and whilst the country is officially labelled the Democratic People's Republic, North Korea functions as a one-party state under a totalitarian family dictatorship. At the end of the Korean War, which claimed 4 million lives, majority of which were civilians, the country was split into North and South in 1945. Underneath Kim Jong-un's dictatorial rule is the Workers' Party of Korea, that is largely made up of distant relatives and family associates of the Kim dynasty. The parties that reside in the WPK represent institutions like the Central Committee and the Central Military Commission. However, these parties serve as a structural front as they wave a little influence over political issues. In 2013, Un killed his uncle Jang Sung-tang by throwing him into a cage naked to be eaten alive by 127 starving dogs. Tong was vice chairman of the National Defense Commission, and he, along with several other high-ranking officers, were found guilty of political crimes. The inhumane punishment was watched by hundreds of WPK members to undoubtedly send a message. North Korea's economy has seen gradual improvement since the collapse of the communist bloc. However, with this improvement, Un has grown complacent with his nation's moderate economic status and has taken deliberate steps to distance his country from China, who is North Korea's main trade partner and supplier of aid in a bid to further isolate North Korea from the rest of the world. Due to North Korea's isolated nature, the country has a very internalized conservative culture as the state controls almost every part of the average citizen's life. To give some examples of this, North Koreans are only allowed to choose from 28 approved haircuts, and possessing Bibles or South Korean movies is considered illegal. Day-to-day life is very plain for the average North Korean, as the social concept of a nuclear family is strictly adhered to. With the conservative culture that exists within the totalitarian state, women are expected to assume their traditional roles within society. However, according to the Institute of National Unification, women earn more than 70% of household income, making ends meet through informal markets that have proliferated in the last 5 years. North Korea is considered an atheist state, and while the constitution claims to celebrate freedom of religious belief, the government constantly interferes with an individual's ability to choose or manifest their religious belief. Although North Korea has signed 4 key international human rights treaties and includes rights protections in its constitution, it allows no organized political protests and offers no religious freedom. North Korea has a very strict and oppressive penal system with labor camps that have been compared to Nazi labor camps. If a citizen is found guilty of committing a political crime or is considered a revolutionary, not only will they be sentenced to work in labor camps, but 3 generations of their family will also face the same fate, as it is believed that disloyalty is carried down the bloodline. The North Korean media was ranked 179 out of 180 countries in the 2015 World Press Freedom Index. The public receives heavily censored information, and while there is a variety of newspapers and TV stations, all media agencies and mediums are controlled by the government and used as a mouthpiece for spreading propaganda amongst the sheltered oppressed public. A quote by American social philosopher Eric Hoffer best describes the impact North Korea's media has on its people. He said, "Propaganda does not deceive people, it merely helps them deceive themselves." Whilst there are many problems with North Korean media, 3 main issues stand out amongst the rest. The first issue is that all news within the country is tailored to Kim Jong-un's agenda. For a country enduring severe economic, social and political problems with an internalized education system, North Koreans are unable to freely access information, which breaks Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, but more importantly, limits the opportunity for self-education and growth. As mentioned before, there is a variety of news sources in North Korea. However, international news is, for the most part, inaccessible. This further separates North Korea from the rest of the world and takes away one's ability to gain perspective and knowledge about global events and issues, while successfully keeping the public ignorant and focused on the biased, falsified information being pumped through the media. The web is also restricted and runs on a domesticated network called Kwangmyong that blocks foreign websites and of course is tailored to the agenda of the government. While recent technological advancements have made it slightly easier for the everyday person to access the internet, If found on a forbidden website, yep, you guessed it, the perpetrator is likely to face prison time. It is practically impossible to draw comparison between North Korean media and any Western nation's media system. Western media is far from perfect, but it allows consumers to choose their preferred station, newspaper, or website, and the medium in which they wish to receive their news, including the option of alternative media, which is often flagged as anti-establishment news or news without corporate commitments. Unfortunately, North Korea doesn't really play a role in the global community because they are disconnected from the outside world. Through the advent of social media, people from different cultures and parts of the world are able to establish a global online discourse. Sadly, North Koreans do not enjoy this privilege as Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and other connective sites are banned or reserved for the elite. Many humanitarian and religious groups and non-profit organizations attempt to provide a glimpse of the outside world to North Koreans. US non-profit groups smuggle USB sticks with Western movies and South Korean news, while religious groups based in South Korea deploy balloons with scripture and sometimes newspaper printed on them that gradually deflate and land in the north. Due to poor international relations and leadership, North Korea has a very separative culture. As seen throughout this presentation, the propaganda that is fed through the media affects almost every part of a North Korean's life, from social and economic issues to the general population's view of other countries that has been shaped and corrupted by a state-controlled media system. Unfortunately, my forecast of North Korea's media is for the most part negative. While the Hermit Kingdom has seen a small rise in internet access, the country is still officially in a war with South Korea, and until the Koreas are unified and the Kim dynasty overthrown, North Korea will not be able to enjoy freedom of information and the press.